At noon, a high-speed pursuit in East Longmeadow at around 1:30 this morning ended with a car crashing into a building. Sergeant Michael Ingalls from the East Longmeadow Police Department was on patrol in the area of Center Square Rotary when he attempted to perform a traffic stop on a Jeep Wrangler after they failed to stop for a stop sign. Now, the Jeep didn't pull over, instead quickly accelerating down North Main Street before crashing into the corner of a Jiffy Lube, and you can see it right there. The driver, later identified as 30-year-old Joseph Tatral of Springfield. Now, he was not injured in the crash, but Tatral was placed under arrest and charged with operating under the influence, failure to stop for a stop sign, failure to stop for police, and negligent operation of a motor vehicle.